first, let's take you back over to the US now and get your reaction from our correspondent in San Francisco, Rachel Silverman. Good morning to you. South Africans waking up to the news now of the president-elect and, of course, the VP-elect, the vice president-elect, if you will. Couple of hours now. What's the reaction been as the news now starts to settle in?
Well, we woke up to the news here in San Francisco as well, and it was a day of dancing in the streets, of jubilation, and feeling of relief, at least for 50% of the U.S. population. There are, of course, 70 million people who voted for Donald Trump, and they're not feeling that same sense of relief. But that's much of what President-elect Joe Biden spoke about in his message to us just a couple of hours ago.
Now, Rachel, obviously we've seen pictures being streamed across the world, various cities in America. People have poured out into the streets to celebrate. And the sense one got was it was very much a feeling of joy, but very much a feeling of relief. It's like a pressure gasket has been released. What has been the sense that you got on the West Coast, in San Francisco? And are we hearing anything from, I suppose, the red states, who are the people that would have supported Donald Trump, but find themselves on the losing side?
San Francisco itself and much of California is a very democratic state. And many people here looked at the last 4 years as a long national nightmare. And the last 4 or 5 days since Tuesday, the election, as we waited and waited and waited for the vote to be counted, people were on pins and needles. And then today, when the announcement was made that Biden had won the state of Pennsylvania, which catapulted him over the number of electoral votes which he needed to win, there was just a collective sigh, not only of relief that this national nightmare is over, that we would no longer have a president who sows seeds of discord and chaos and hate, but that perhaps we could have a reset and a feeling of new beginning. We've heard very little from Trump supporters. They seem to be taking counsel in the president, who has not been heard from publicly today. He spent the morning on the golf course, and he did tweet this morning that he won, and as he said, he won big. The president not only has not conceded, but he says that he's demanding a recount and that he's filing several lawsuits in order to try to reshape these results. We have heard some media reports from some people who have sources who say that the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is talking to him about the possibility of conceding. But so far, absolutely nothing formal from the president or from his campaign with any indication that he is going to accept the results of the election.
I'm interested to know what we are hearing from the Republican Party. Obviously, there is a sense that they did far better than they expected at Congress and at Senate level, although the Senate race is not completely over with those 2 runoff races that are still expected to come. But are we getting a sense from Republican leaders that they are putting out a conciliatory hand forward, as is normally the tradition when it comes to this stage in the election process in the United States?
There have been very few Republicans who have come out publicly to congratulate President Biden and to shake his hand. Certainly there have been some. But I think that I think that there is a recognition that this vote was a repudiation of Donald Trump and his policies and his way of governing. And the fact that he lost and that so many other Republicans did so well is certainly a telling sign about what Americans think of the president versus what Americans think of Republicans.
Rachel, I know we're going to say goodbye to you in just a moment or two. Just before we get to that, some 73 days until the swearing-in ceremony of Joe Biden and Donald Trump officially hands over the keys of the White House. What is the next 73 days going to look like from the Trump administration? What can he do as the president? What can't he do? How much more influence does he still have now as the incumbent president of the U.S.?
Well, that's a kind of a scary question. He could sign all kinds of executive orders. He can continue appointing judges where there are vacancies. He can continue to dismantle various organizations. So he can do a lot of damage in the next 73 days. And for many Americans, January 20th cannot come soon enough.